New York City, New York, Knicks. If the Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. The Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. The Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. The Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. We back, we back, we back, we back, we back. This is New York City, home of the Knicks, baby. Yeah, we back on track. The Mecca's going crazy. Rim rocking, shot blocking, boy, we are not stopping. Aiming at that chip with a bullseye on the target. It's been so many years, that's how bad we really want it. From the city to the garden, we all be blue and orange. And everybody starving, hell yeah, hungry for a ring. Got a team full of hungry hoopers all going in. We back. Oh yeah, we back. Let me hear you give it up. The Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. The Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. The Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. The Knicks is in the Mecca, yeah, let me hear you give it up. We back, we back, we back, we back, we back, we back.
Forbes and Phil's in the building. My God, what's good?
And I salute the new Knicks. Let's get it.
Shout out to the new Knicks.
The new Knicks, salute my guy.
The new Knicks, the organic podcast.
Uh-oh. Sounds like it's about to go down in here. Going down. New York City, NYC. MNG, stand up. Brooklyn, Staten in the Bronx. Manhattan, Queens, what you want? We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. Brooklyn, Staten in the Bronx. Manhattan, Queens, what you want? We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks.
Welcome back, Organic Fanatics. What up, what up, what up? Brooklyn, Staten, and the Bronx. Manhattan, Queens, what you want? We want the Knicks. That's right, we want the Knicks.
Knicks.
All season. What up, what up? And we only got my cousin, my brother, family member here, Machete. Talk to him.
New York City. New York Knicks. What you want? We want the Knicks.
Yes, sir.
From Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx.
Manhattan.
That's what's up, baby.
Yeah,
What you want? We want the Knicks.
All right, so we had closing of a season overall before we get into all the other convos that we're going to talk about. I think we had a great year. It was one of our best years, not only in a decade since the mellow time that we went to the playoffs. That was the last time we went other than 2 years ago. It's probably our second best, even up to 20 years, based off not only our statistics, how we did in the in-season, and also in the playoffs. We made it to the second round. That hasn't happened since a decade. So that's a wonderful year, I think, overall. I think we overachieved. We did better than what most people anticipated we were going to do this year. So this is the overlooked stuff that people are pretty much washing away with our season this year. They're overlooking the accomplishments of what we've done, the development of our youth, which we were asking for, developing of the youth, letting the youth play. One of the youth that we drafted that people were talking about was Emmanuel Quickly, who nearly won the sixth man, which I personally think he was robbed of that sixth man. We had another player, Quentin Grimes, a.k.a. Q-Dot, who made it to the NBA Rising Stars, who was almost the MVP of the Rising Stars. So you can see the great development with him. He's in the second year this year. Next year will be his third year. You saw Mitch grow, got his contract, and he was one of the best players in the NBA as far as offensive rebound, possibly the best offensive rebounder in the game. Definite huge defensive presence. We also had not only Jalen Brunson, who should have won Most Improved Player of the year. He should have been as a snubbed All-Star, snubbed All-NBA player, but he was easily, and everybody talked about it, the sneakiest and probably the greatest pickup in almost all of NBA history as far as a pickup. So you got someone that was essentially who they thought was overpaid, who Dallas is sick right now that they could have got him for 55 mil. We got him for 100 mil. And even with the 100 mil, they're saying that that was cheap compared to how he's playing at all levels. So shout out to Jalen Brunson and all he's accomplished and all our other players as well. Obviously, Julius Randle, two-time All-Star, two-time All-NBA. And, of course, R.J. Barrett started off the year slow, but ended up going back to his averages, went up from 18 to 19 points per game, started cooking at the end of the season. And then in the playoffs, Badman Barrett, Broadway Barrett showed up. When everybody thought that he wasn't going to go, he was going to disappear, they put him on the trading block. They already had all types of people that they were drafting for him. They already had three-way trades. They had first-rounders for him. And then he came out averaging 19 points a game in the playoffs and playing big when it mattered. All that to say, I think we had a phenomenal year. Machete, give me your thoughts on how you did, before we get anything else, how do you think the year went overall for Knicks?
Someone's alarm's going on.
Not here.
Okay, anyways. We did good. We did better than expected. We did well. I thought we were going to get 45 games at least, and they did 2 games better. They got more cohesive. It wasn't expected they were going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. It was fun that we made it to the end of the second round. We made it at least, we gave them a game. But Miami is a good team. It's a well-coached team, like we've all been saying. They got good veterans. They got a great leader in Jimmy Butler, who again took the first game in Boston. So there goes. That's a team there that's led by Pat Riley, who's been a winner since the '80s with the Lakers, and then later with the Knicks. And then what he did with the Lakers, he hasn't doing in Miami. So the Miami is like the Lakers of the Southeast. It's just.
So do you think that the Knicks development happened this year? How we were calling for the youth to develop?
Yeah, the guys did well. Look, Grimes last year wasn't a starter like that, and he was a starter in the playoffs. IQ, even though he didn't do too good in the playoffs, was still a candidate for Sixth Man of the Year and was like second runner up. So we did well. We're doing good. We got, Obi. Everybody knows that would do really great if he played more minutes. Everybody knows, the Treetop. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing blocking him is Randall. And for me, Randall also did well. He became another All-Star. We did very good. And I'm not even mentioning Isaiah Hartenstein or the pickup of Josh Hart that we did this year. And not even, I'm saving the best for last, because there's still, even Deuce got minutes in the playoffs. That's good for our camaraderie and our morale and going forward, and that Jalen Brunson got snubbed for All-Star, and the pickup, like you said, it was probably one of the best pickups in history, dude.
For sure. One of them.
I don't feel bad that Dallas didn't want to pay him. They offered him $55 million.
No, they didn't. They could have offered it to him, and they didn't. That's their bad.
Whatever. That's their bad. But we paid him what he was worth. We underpaid him. But not only that, the NBA, he got snubbed because he's a Knick. He got snubbed.
Yep.
So I think that we're gonna have more to prove next year. And everybody knows now going in right now. And I think that what the front office did last year, I can't wait to see what they do next year. I can't wait. It's going to be something, they need, for all we know, they could have been ready for us not getting a draft pick. That's why we have all these draft picks. They think ahead. They play chess. I'm sure that they got more hidden there that they're going to surprise people again.
And speaking of draft picks, what you're talking about here, let's talk about the NBA draft. So the NBA draft lottery just passed. We obviously got jerked over, so we knew that that was going to happen. And then you got where Dallas, of course, they rested their players at the end, which they should have got fined. I believe they did. Resting Luka and Kyrie Irving. So you're telling them that you don't want to win just so you can get a draft pick when they could have won. I think it was just 2 games, and they would have been in the playoffs. So what kind of signal are they telling them? Anyways, by them doing that, Dallas got the 10th pick. So Dallas's pick that was supposed to be ours basically goes to Dallas. That means we have their pick next year if it falls out of the top 10 again. So if they do well this year, whoever they get, and then next year it's 11 or deeper, that's our pick. So essentially it rolls over to next year. This year, our pick, we ended up giving our pick to get Josh Hart. So we gave up Cam and a first pick, our own first pick for this year to Trailblazers. So we essentially don't have any picks this year. And then the other first that we gave to get Cam with Kevin Knox. So all the picks that we had for this year, we don't have any. The only way that we can acquire someone would be to trade someone and maybe get a first this year. But I don't see, the foresight of our team, our front office. I think they've already seen what was available this year and if it was going to fit for us or there was any players that would fit with us or that we would really want. And I don't think they saw anyone that they would make a move that we should go for, one that's going to fit in our system or one that's ready to play right away. We know Coach Tibbs doesn't play rookies right away. They're going to sit probably for a year just studying off the bench and learning. Look at Deuce, and Deuce is probably one of the best defenders. Deuce was picked by Thibodeau and the front office because of his defense, and he's one that they picked and really liked, and he barely got burn time. So imagine someone that he doesn't even really want, that may have a lot of talent, he's not going to see any time. So I think based off the front office, how we picked our players, how we set everything up for this year is not only to develop what we have, which means the picks that we have, basically we hit on all our picks. Would you agree with IQ, with Grimes, with Sims? All the picks that we have, I think we've pretty much hit a home run on them. So we let them develop. They grew in. And then so now we got to see how it comes to play. We technically have IQ and we have Obi for one more year. I think one more year for IQ, or we got to make a decision by the end of this upcoming year. So we technically don't have to make a move on either one of them to the end of next year. So what are your thoughts on the players we have now? Do you think it's something that we would keep, or do you think that a trade would probably happen in order to get a pick for this year's draft? You're on mute.
Hey, get back to me in a couple of minutes. Can I get back to you?
Yeah, do your thing. I'll get back. Keep going. So jump in whenever you're ready. So if the only way that we get anyone here in the draft is unless we trade IQ, unless we trade OB, or unless we trade someone from the team. Everyone that we see fits like a glove. We're not going to get rid of Grimes. We kept him. We didn't move him for Donovan Mitchell. So we obviously see the talent there. He was injured. He guarded the best two on every team. And he was forced to create shots with minimal touches. So hopefully we can work on that. I think that's going to be the goal, to adjust this year. I think he'll still be the starting 2 unless something major pops up. I know everybody wants, and the talk, which right now we're in the season, Knicks for clicks. So everybody's just trying to get whatever they can to get us fans here, us Knicks fans, to click on their pages and lose our minds. All the big swings for the home runs, Giannis because they fired Coach Bud. Anybody in the Suns because they fired Monty Williams. Can we get Ayton? Ayton's a disgruntled player. They're going to want to move him. Is he worth going forward with the contract? I don't know. So the players that are available there, and based off our organization, we have to make sure they fit. If we look at Raw Hebrew, salute to Raw Hebrew. Great content. He did a great thing about fit, which that's what we're looking at. Does the player fit on the team? Because the team is built a certain way, and it has to be gelled and cohesive with all the players. I know he was mentioning possibly if we move Julius Randle, a lot of things could fit. I don't know if the organization's going to do that because the money we got into Julius Randle, it's not a lot, but in comparison to anyone else that we'd want to move, they're going to require a lot of money. So I personally think that Julius is going to stay. Whether we like it or not, I don't see him being moved. I think a position that we'd be looking for is, unless a small forward comes out that we can get. But again, that means you're going to be moving RJ or moving pieces that worked for us. All the players that we have as our starters, we went on a 10-game win streak and we went on an 8-game win streak. So I don't really see that we're doing anything that we would be moving the starters the way it is. I think it's going to be what we have there, unless it's a major move. But I can't see it. I don't see them breaking up the team with what's already working. Unless the only move that would happen, in all honesty, is if IQ requests trade because he wants to start. He said he sees himself as a starter. He's going to want to start, or that he sees himself as a starter. Not that he wants to start. Let me take that back. But that he sees himself as a starter. And if he wants to start somewhere, that's going to be the only leverage we would have to not only move him and then maybe get a pick for him, if that's the only way I can see a draft happening. Us getting a pick in the draft, either this year's draft or someone, if Obi wants to trade or wants to start somewhere, or maybe a team really wants Obi, that we can acquire a pick from him and maybe a player or an expiring contract. So those are the only moves that I see we can make to get anything in the draft, or a Fournier with a Rose. Maybe someone wants to take Rose and Fournier together, to get Rose's expiring $15 million, which is a lot of money. So those are the only moves. So if we do get any picks, it's probably going to be with Fournier, Evan, IQ, or Obi. Everyone else I really don't see we got being moved. Randall, I see it would be a real hard sell with the organization, what he bring. Because without Randall, we wouldn't have been where we're at now. So what do you think, Machete, about people talking about Randall trades? Do you think a Randall trade makes sense? Do you think it's something that we should explore? What are your thoughts on a Randall trade?
As far as Randall, I don't know who we're going to replace Randall with. I think, every player has their flaws, their imperfections that come with whatever it is, their greatness. We have an all-star. Why would we want to get rid of an all-star? What other all-star is going to want to come to New York? Unless he wants to leave, I wouldn't try to trade him. I'd try to keep him. We've had a lot of great games this season because of Randall. We wouldn't be in the playoff without Randall. We wouldn't have beat Miami in that last minute shot, or the great games we've had at MSG when we have good Randall. We're gonna have bad Randall. I think it was a little better this year. He was a little better this year than last year. He's a little better. He gets a little better. He tries. The guy, in the offseason is remarkable training. He's a beast. He's a baller, dog. The guy is ridiculous, man. He's an all-star twice with us. Even if it was in a bubble, he's still an all-star because he plays like an all-star. My thing is that, and when it comes to the playoffs, he disappears like that Homer Simpson meme into the bushes. But it is what it is, We just got to get somebody who can compensate for that in the playoff. Or maybe we need another year of Jalen Brunson rubbing off on him. Or the flip side is maybe we would play better. JR would play better without him. Who knows what the positives are. But then again, also the flip side, if we do get rid of him, Obi would get more minutes. We could keep Obi. We could keep that younger core. But Obi doesn't do what Randall do. Not even close, dog. Not even close. As great as Obi is, we can't replace that almost a triple-double that guy does on the court.
And here's what I'm thinking too, that I think gets overlooked. And again, I've had my in and outs with Randall, but I think Randall's is probably here for the long haul till he's in the rafters. The thing with Randall that I've seen and it wasn't addressed is that in the playoffs, yes, he was invisible to a certain extent, but he was invisible because they were doing the same thing to him that they've been doing in the regular season. They're doubling him, and there's no one else that can spread the floor for him. We don't have the shooters. That's why that's what we're missing. So many shots. It's not just on him. A lot of players miss shots. RJ missed shots. Quentin Grimes missed a lot of shots. Brunson went uncanny of him that he was missing. He went 0 for 7 in the first game in 3-pointers. So we missed a lot of shots that if we hit, we're talking having a different conversation. You know what I mean? So he's taking a brunt of the weight on that. He's still getting double teamed. Show me a player that we would trade him for that is not going to get double teamed. He's been double teamed for 2 to 3 seasons. Not one game, not one sporadic game in the playoff. For 3 straight years, he gets double teamed every game. Still gives you 25, 10, and 5 assists. Still giving you great numbers. And yes, there are a lot of maybe bonehead plays or so, but if we had more efficient shooters, there won't be those turnovers or, other people, him forcing to create something. So, and that's my opinion on that. As far as the playoffs, yes, he was invisible, but so did a lot of our team. If you're telling me all our team was shooting lights out and was scoring and we're efficient and we're hitting threes and spacing the floors and he was invisible, all right, I can bite that. But you're talking about our whole team disappeared. Our bench was invisible. And then we're just going to keep dumping everything on him on that aspect. So, and again, everybody's talking about trade. How do you trade someone who was in the top 5 of the NBA? The top 4 players are making $200 million. Those other players that you want to trade him for are making 200 and he's making 100. So we've already won off the money battle. Just like we did with Mitch, just like how we did with Brunson. We made smart deals. We got the money to where it is. The team's gelling. They're working together. So this is someone that you're going to, in my opinion, you're going to want to keep and just keep building around that. We've got the team ahead of where it was. We need shooters. So this is where I think we're going to be addressing in the offseason. I don't think Randall gets traded. As I'm just going to right to the point. I don't think he's going to get traded. So did we go offline? All right. Well, anyway, I don't think Randall gets traded. The only people who's gonna for sure gonna get moved is Evan. He expressed that he thinks he's gonna get traded. That's gonna be an obvious. This is gonna be a last year, $19 million. He technically has 2 years, but the team that he gets traded to and or us, we can waive the team option. That 4th year is a team option. Do we want to continue to play in that $19 million? So whatever team he goes to, I don't even think we gotta attach assets or anything to get rid of him because that's essentially $19 million that the team could buy him out or waive that final year, and then they got $19 million at the end of the book. Any team that has trying to clear up cap would take that. And then you throw in Rose. I don't think you got to take it first. I think we can get a first for it. Rose is another 14, 15 million. If you put both of them together, that's a lot of money. You're talking about $35 million. So either we can free that up next year, and that gives us room to pick whoever we want to pick. I don't know if MB is going to say he wants to be out this year. Maybe he'll give the organization another shot, see who's the coach that they're going to go with, see if Daryl Morey, if they keep Harden, maybe at the end of the year, if he doesn't like what they're doing, he goes, all right, trade me in the middle of the year. I think an Embiid situation would be more towards the middle to the ending of the year. He'll give him a shot, and then towards December, January timeframe, he's going to ask for a trade if they either keep or get rid of Harden and see what they do. So I don't think an Embiid thing is something that can happen right away. The Bucks, the fact that they fired Bud, it almost screams a rebuild, but I don't know what coach would go over and that they see that they can turn it around better than Bud, unless it's Monty Williams, or Nate McMillan. But all these coaches that got fired and the Doc Rivers, all of them have terrible playoff records. So other than Bud. So I don't know who you're going to upgrade with Bud from Milwaukee. What does that tell Giannis? He wants to stay there. He wants to retire. So he said before, but I mean, as opposed to him looking pretty excited if he had a chance to go with the Warriors. Giannis is someone who looks at a legacy right now. It's not about money. He's looking at legacy and what he's leaving behind. He won MVP. He's won a championship, but he's someone who wants to win multiple championships. So I could see him trying to force a way to Golden State or something like that. I don't know if a Knicks would fit on there. I mean, we're up and coming, but are we ready to win a ring? Can we do it in 2 or 3 years? Is that something that he would be able to get us to a chip right away? And then what kind of trade does that look like? If you trade for a Giannis or Embiid, that's literally a mellow trade. You're emptying out the cabinet with all your picks, your youthful players. And even though we got a plethora of picks, that's going to be something different. So as far as what we're looking at for trades, I don't see these big stars Paul George is a possibility, but again, you got someone that breaks down in the playoffs. That's when you need him. That's someone that breaks down when you need him. Excuse me, guys. But that's something that we're gonna have to look at when we want to add someone on there. So all these star players that they're talking about bringing over, the Bookers, the Paul George, you got Kawhi Leonard, who's always injured. So I don't know what value he can bring other than defensive. Can you keep him on there? So I don't know. Machete, I was just talking about players of that, the big swing players that they're talking about bringing over or trading for, the Embiids, the Giannis, the Paul Georges. Do you see anything like a superstar that we can go after, and what would it cost us?
Well, you know who number one would be to go after would be Giannis. Embiid, I'm not too big on. I think he's a big wuss. And he's another one that, it's like with his greatness, you got to have his shortcomings. He's going to have his shortcomings. But Embiid would be good to have, great to have, but I still think he's a wuss, in the playoffs. I mean, at least he wusses out when he's in the finals. But, and then, trying to incorporate guys into I like our squad the way we are right now. And try to do the best we can. We pick up anybody. If we can pick up an all-star, that would be great. Giannis and Embiid, that would be great. I don't see that happening. I don't see Philly just trading away their number one player to a competitor like the Knicks. Especially in the situation they're in right now. Harden might be leaving. They may want to keep Embiid and play him with Maxey. Maxey's a great player,
But for Embiid, who said he wants to win a ring and be with a competitive team,
he's still closer with Philly than if he were to come with the Knicks.
Really? You think if Harden leaves, that he would be closer to winning a ring than compared with us if he came with us? Let's say, because think about it, if they're trying to get Embiid, what's it going to cost us? Besides every pick that we own, maybe IQ, maybe Obi, you're probably maybe a RJ. And like 5 picks to get him.
Okay, so then exactly my point. So then if it's going to cost us all of that for Embiid to come to New York, then you think he's going to be closer to winning with that team?
Well, let's think
or the Philly right now with just Maxey. The thing is that they don't have a coach. I forget. Hold on, I thought about it. They don't have Doc Rivers, so that is a factor right there.
And do you think Maxey's better than Jalen Brunson?
If they get a good coach like Monty and Maxey better than Jalen Brunson? No.
Okay, so do you think Jalen Brunson and the MVP of the league, Embiid as a starter, and Randall, and let's say, I don't know if we keep Grimes in that trade, if they're going to want all that, but if we can keep Grimes.
But you got two big whiners like Randall and Embiid. You think they're going to be able to coexist? Then the whole chemistry of them being in there.
No, because
you have to give me Rob to get Embiid.
If we can keep Grimes and trade, and I'm not. These are just hypotheticals. If we trade IQ, let's say we trade IQ, OB, and RJ, and like 4 first rounders for him, and we got Jalen Brunson, Grimes, you got Randall, and then you got Embiid as our starting 5. And then you got Mitch coming off the bench with Deuce, and then we could get fillers. There's a lot of fillers, which I'm going to go later, of players who not only want to come here on cheap contracts, will be good veterans. I mean, I think we have a way better shot than what
you're talking about hypotheticals, and I don't know what kind of fillers you're talking about. I'm sure we would be able to get good fillers, but you're still breaking up our team. You're basically breaking up our squad.
Well, but what are we always talking about? At some point, you're going to want to try to chase a superstar. And Embiid, if these are the hypothetical, if he's unhappy, you're talking about an MVP. Have we ever had a chance to win an MVP, dominant player, top 10 player ever? No. So at some point, you got to take a swing. If it's available, is all I'm saying. If the opportunity presents itself, you're going to have to try to swing and get. I don't agree. I think we should, ideally, I think we should keep our team. However, the rare chance that someone as big in the NBA right now as Embiid, I think you would go for it. Because him specifically, I think he would fit. Someone like Giannis would cost all that and then some, and what you're going to give up to get him, he's not a shooter. Embiid could hit threes. Embiid could defend. Embiid could drive. You know what I mean? So Embiid has a lot of different skill set that would lend itself to what we have. You understand? That I think he would fit better than a Giannis who just drives and just dominates in the paint. I don't think he would work with us when you got a Randall or an RJ that all of them play in the paint. Embiid is different because Embiid can shoot. Embiid can space the floor. He would be a stretch five. Not only can he shoot the ball, but he can dominate in the paint. He has a big game. He can hook. He's a solid body. And then when you have him, you wouldn't be able to double team a Randall. You won't be able to double team a Jalen Brunson. And then you got a free-flowing offense that won't clog the paint because Embiid can hit threes. Randall can hit three and space the floor for Embiid and say Jalen Brunson. So that would work because those three are dominant players in the paint and they can all hit threes. Giannis can't do that. Giannis can't. I mean, can you really count on a three with him? You give the three to I can't hear you. You're on mute.
No, Giannis can hit a couple of threes.
But can you count on him?
To hit threes? He ain't known to hit threes, but he's hit a couple.
But who's better? If you had to put $300 or $1,000 on Joel Embiid or Giannis,
Embiid.
And there it is. Then that's where you make the move.
Well, who would you take, Giannis or Embiid?
I would take Embiid.
You would take Embiid over Giannis?
Yes.
How many times has Embiid been an MVP?
First time, but he was in the running for the last 3 years.
And how many times has Giannis been MVP?
I think once. But it's not only about MVPs because it's about fit. Like as far as centers, there's nobody that can dominate Embiid.
Okay, how many championships does Giannis have?
One.
Okay. How many does Embiid have?
None. But that's not on him though. That's not on. Who was his coach? Doc Rivers. How many? You're talking about how many rings does Doc Rivers has? How many times has Doc lost in the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? That comes down to the organization, and you're talking about.
Doc Rivers got a ring. Doc Rivers got a ring.
Yeah, but when he was in Boston as an assistant.
No, he was a coach.
When
Thibs was his assistant.
Oh yeah, but in Boston, when he had three.
Doc Rivers got a ring in Boston as a coach.
3 All-Stars. The one and it was 1 year, and then he couldn't win again with them. So that had
a good coach. He's a whiner, yo.
I get it, but he does. Look at the talent that's been around him. He's never had a dominant point guard. He's never had any other real.
He had James Harden, yo.
In his twilight of his career, he had fat James Harden, and even then, James Harden played like a buster.
Yeah, it was still James Harden, bro.
But not Houston James Harden that was dropping 50, hitting threes. James Harden looks like he just collected his bread and he's just chilling. He was just assisting, but you need James Harden to be who he is. That's like saying Kyrie, you get Kyrie, but he only shoots threes and doesn't dribble anymore, doesn't drive. Like that's not who Kyrie is. Yeah, maybe might be effective, but James Harden used to hit threes like 10 a game. Now he's just giving you 15 assists and less than 20 points. That's a regular average. That ain't a real elite point guard. You know what I mean? Unless they make a home run, which that's what I'm saying. I don't think Embiid is gonna come now this season. If he's gonna wait to see what they do. Do they get a Kyrie Irving if James Harden walks? Kyrie and this guy and give him a big contract. If they don't do any moves this year, then I can see either the middle of the year or next year Embiid being a disgruntled player. But I don't see that happening this year. For Giannis would be way too much that you literally got to gut the team to do it. There's no other real player. Devin Booker, the likelihood that you go after Booker, they're going to want $1 gajillion and a gajillion players. He's going to want to stay. That's going to be his best chance with Kevin Durant. So I don't know. That's going to be tough. If
you say money, who's more expensive, Giannis or Embiid?
Giannis right now. I think Giannis is like $200-something million. He signed his 220 or something retarded like that. He's north for 200 something.
I don't know, man. I think that Giannis is more of a dog than Embiid.
He's a dog, but his skill set.
Strong and big and strong. He's a big, strong guy, skillful. like one of the best centers out there right now. I mean, he's like,
But
he
he's
does
not a center.
everything.
He plays power forward. He's not a center.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez plays center. He's playing in the same position that Randall plays. What skill set would he lend the team other than clogging the paint, which Randall does, which RDJ does, which that's Brunson's game. So they're not gonna it's not gonna improve the team. They're gonna clash. It's not about just getting the best talent out there. You got to get someone that's gonna fit your team. You know, that's what Raul was saying, and that's what it's true. It's got this team is built a certain way, a culture is built a certain way. Culture wise, yeah, he's intelligent, he's smart, he speaks good, his work ethic is great. That would go great with the team. But then at the same time, he can't spread the floor. The reason we're out of the playoffs right now is because we can't shoot. Embiid would be able to shoot if we're getting for someone. But again, I really don't see anyone that we're gonna get out there.
No, I just don't see him being able to take the media, and I just don't see him be like, he doesn't have thick skin.
You talking about Embiid? He's in Philly. The media loves Embiid.
The media in Philly is not the media in New York City.
But he's a jokester. He clowns. He talks. He would fit right in with the media. I don't think that'll be. He's not someone that's soft like that. He's soft like when he does the fake flops because he tries to get a call here and there. But he's not a soft dude. For my opinion, at least.
I like soft like that. I mean, I just went on that.
Yeah, I mean that. All right. I mean, we can agree to disagree, but this is the stuff that they're talking about. Other than that, do you see any other star? Jalen Brunson. I'm sorry, not Jalen Brunson. Devin Booker. Do you see a Kawhi Leonard or Paul George? Anything like that you see that's worth for us going after?
That you saying Devin Booker's available?
No, none of them are available. This is Knicks for clicks. This is what everybody does every year. They just say a name that they.
I ain't interested in shit like that, dude. I don't give a fuck. If he's not available, I don't want to talk about him. I would love to have him, but you know they got rid of his coach. He's gonna be super fucking expensive, but to bring him in next to Jalen Brunson, yeah, I think you need somebody taller. You know, I would love to keep just who we have, man, and let IQ play the two. Shut the fuck up. Go again for Sixth Man of the Year. Just keep the camaraderie, dude, and fucking play well. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got to do something about Mitch, though. That's the thing. And so we're trying to get a center. You know, we'll see if Sims comes back healthy. You know, maybe we'll use him as a trading asset. Sims, you know, but who's going to be better than Mitch rebounding? Who we going to get who's better than Mitch rebounding, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who's available? Who can get realistically, dude? Not no fucking.
I mean, we don't need a center. We don't need one.
Well, then we stay and we go again with the three that we have. We did good with the three that we have the first time, all of them together. You know what I'm saying? Mitch went down and Sims went in there and played well. Sims played well till he got hurt. Hartenstein played through injury. He got a little better, but his shot was off at the end, so I don't know what's up with that. You know, it's like the motherfuckers all gave up at the end, man. Once they went down south to Miami, they all gave up. You know, it was like Pat said, look, y'all ain't gonna fucking win this shit. Forget about it. Just relax, enjoy it, enjoy the run, and you know, rebuild next year. You gotta come back the second year. We did well the first year together, this brand new fucking group together. The first year. Did well. Everybody's happy about that.
Yeah. And now that we're going into that, we spoke about the draft, which is probably not going to happen again unless we trade somebody in IQ or an Obi, which I don't know if that's going to happen. The only thing is this year is do IQ and Obi? It's really on them. If they express some kind of, does IQ say he want to start? Does he just stay quiet for one more year and plays hard this year and see if he can develop under the system again? And then see what we offer him because he's extension eligible this year, this upcoming year. So we could offer him something, or we can make him a restricted free agent, and then see what people offer him, and then match it. You know, see if he goes that way. So we could do that with him and basically Obi this year. So we could.
Well, you know what? Bro? It's going to be wide open. This year's going to be wide open. You got a lot of changes to teams like Toronto, Philly, all these teams that lost their coaches Phoenix lost coaches, dude. Unless they keep their teams together, or they're gonna blow it up. But there's some teams that is like Philly fucking loses Harden, they might have to blow it up, right? Or start over again somehow. So everything's wide open.
Unless they get like a Kyrie Irving, which is
Guys,
possible.
guys from Toronto are available. Everything's wide open right now. Who knows what could happen? ¿Tú me entiendes?
That's
Well,
but that's
a lot of rumors. A lot of rumors, man. Hang on.
no, I agree with you. But that's why I think we need to stand pat and just chill out. Because everybody, if they're in that zone, if they're gonna be blowing it up and they're gonna be making moves, they're gonna try to use us first, just like Utah did, to try to get the most assets that they can. They're gonna try to rape us. So you let other people maybe go after some of those players, and then I really think we're gonna go for low key moves this year because the team is good. We just need shooting and a little bit more defense, bro. We need spacers on the team. And I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we hold on to IQ and OB for one more season, and then either towards the late before the trade deadline would be when we would make a move if they express they want to maybe start or be somewhere else. I think trades would happen towards the trade deadline, but I think we keep IQ and OB early unless something really presents itself. I think we can go for other players that we can actually steal at a low cost. You know what I mean? So there's some other people that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. I'm a little busy. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So if IQ, these are just me thinking out the box. This isn't anything that we've heard out there, but we're saying it here first. So when people start running with another stories, they're gonna come back to the originals. But if IQ were to want to start, there's a couple of teams that could use him right away. If Washington, which Raw Hebrew said this first, if he wants to start, Washington would be a good team where he can go to. If they're trying to keep Bradley Beal, if they're trying to keep Kuzma, Kuzma and even Porzingis, if they resign them and they really want to keep it, and IQ wants to start, we could do some kind of sign and trade over there, and maybe they give us Johnny Davis, who was a draft pick that they got, who's a good guard, young, maybe not as experienced, obviously. Not saying that he's better than IQ. It's only if IQ wants to go over there and maybe get a first-round pick from Washington with Johnny Davis, something like that for quickly. And then we do a trade and then they sign him over there. So that's something that I can see happening if we go to Washington, get Johnny Davis on a rookie contract that keeps our cap low, that gets him to his starting position, makes him competitive, and maybe we get some more assets besides Johnny Davis, who's a good talent, which I think the Knicks almost wanted to get. So that's something that I think we can keep an eye out for. Another low-key pick, which I got to give props to CP the franchise for that. He thought maybe we get Alec Burks back. So Alec Burks is a veteran. He knows our system. He knows Tibbs. I don't think he's going to go in Detroit. I don't think Detroit resigns him. He's too old. They're going to go for youth. So I think it's a good possibility that we could get Alec Burks back with our bench. So if somehow we lose IQ, or even if IQ stays, that we have another solid bench player who knows the system, knows Tibbs, knows our players, who can contribute right off the bat with our bench. Someone who would fit right in, who has good, as you're talking about, chemistry with our team right now. RJ knows him. He has great buy-in with our team. So I think a sneaky low-pick player, Alec Burke. So you'd be looking at, if we keep IQ from the bench, then you have Alec Burke, then you have Josh Hart, and then you have Obi, and then you have Hartenstein as our bench. That definitely adds more potency to our bench. So I think that's something that's I'll say a good 70% likelihood that we can go after. That's someone who would fit right in. We're looking for people that can plug in and play and be ready to go. That definitely fits Tibbs' system. That definitely fits chemistry and experience, and someone that you can get cheap and obviously a budget. So look out for Alec Burke. I think that's going to be, shout out to CP for mentioning that, which I think that's a very good breakdown he did on that. So shout out to Knicks Fans TV. But I think that's a very smart and something likely. So I think Alec Burks would fit in. We need scoring, we need shooting, and we need it from the bench asset. It's not going to be someone that's going to replace Grimes. Grimes is still going to be our number two. Grimes is still going to be efficient, work on his efficiency as a three. He needs to get more touches. So I really don't see us breaking up our starting fives. I think it's more just adding depth into our team. And then only if Obi and IQ express any kind of, something that they want to move on, then that's where we go deeper into other picks. And Machete, I know you're at work. If you got to jump in, you can jump in, or if you have to leave, I understand.
No, I agree. I like
What-
Alec Burks. He'd be great. He had a really good season with Detroit, and he knows the system. Thibs loves him. It'd be good.
Yeah, I think that'll be like a sneaky pick for us that gives us firepower, gives us another 3-point scorer, someone who's consistent, someone who can definitely keep the points coming in. So when we're struggling offensively, he's someone that Tibbs relied on heavily, heavily. So someone coming from the bench, he doesn't have to play the starting point guard because we got Brunson. We lost him because we had to make some moves. So I think that's going to be a reality pick for us. I think that's something that we will be seeing Alec Burks. I can 75% certainty on that one. That's one move that I was looking at. Buddy Hield, people are bringing up Buddy Hield. I don't know that we would do that next year. He has $18 million. Indiana was making a run late. He looks like he fits good with their system there. I don't see Indiana really letting him go or making a trade. He's a great shooter. He would be a great floor spacer for us. But I think he has a bigger role. He is coming from the bench for them. So someone for us that comes from the bench and can hit threes, he's someone that we can plug in, and he was number 2 in catch and shoot threes, only behind Stephen Curry, which is huge. So he would definitely help us, but I don't know how that would work for us for a trade on that. I don't know why Indiana would let him go. I don't know who would we give up for Buddy Hield. So, I mean, unless it's an IQ or an Obi, maybe if it's an Obi trade or something like that. But again, money has to match. So there's a lot of intricacies on there. Maybe they take Fournier and then we give Obi and then get Buddy Hield because Fournier's 19, Obi's maybe another 14. So maybe we get Buddy Hield and then Duarte. That's another 2 shooters that we get. They free up 19 mil, and then they get a young Obi. That's something interesting there. That could be a possibility. So if they take Fournier, and then we throw in Obi just so they can take that Obi. And again, this isn't what I'm wanting, but scenarios that could happen. But that would be the only thing that I would think would happen if we have to throw in Obi in order to get rid of Fournier's contract. And then we get back Buddy Hield, who only has 1 more year at that 18. Elite 3-point shooter, elite catch and shoot 3, which that's what we need. And then we would get maybe a Duarte to replace Obi's contract, who also is a small forward, but he's a shooter, so he's not someone that would clash with what Randall does. And then we keep Randall, which again, this is what I'm thinking as a front office is gonna do, consistent to what we're playing here. So that's a different scenario there with Buddy Hield. Seth Curry. Seth Curry that's his last year. Right now, Seth Curry from Brooklyn, Steph Curry's brother, not Steph Curry, Seth. He's an unrestricted free throw agent. Unrestricted free agent, sorry. So he's someone who can score, can come off the bench, who could be a 2 guard and can light it up quickly, who's a good shooter. And Machete, if you ever want to jump in, but I'm just going to keep flowing unless you got something to say on any of these.
No, I love Steph Curry. Yeah, that kid's a knife. He's a shooter. He's a dog. He's a little bit small. But, yeah, I told you, like I said, I like if Scary Terry's available. That would be great. I would love to see
he has a higher contract. I'm thinking, and all these players I'm mentioning are really low-key picks that we can get almost for nothing or a low amount. Because now, that's a Leon move. If you look at all the moves Leon has made, he's consistent with either making good picks, high reward, low cost. You know what I mean? So that's why all these Knicks for clicks they're talking about the Giannis and all. I mean, you're talking about players that are $200 million, the Zach Levines,
What
players that
about
are.
Cam Johnson available? I will go out there and get Steph Curry and Cam.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at here. But remember, Brooklyn's on a rebuild. So are they going to give one of their best young talents away, or are they going to rebuild with them? So they got both Cam Thomases there, Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas. Then you got Mikal Bridges.
Cam Johnson's pissed about the Kevin Durant situation. I didn't read the full article, but he's just pissed that he got sent to the Nets with
Yeah,
KD. Probably was expecting to play with KD. He got sent away, so I don't know if he's too happy at the Nets.
At his level, he's not nobody yet. He hasn't made his name. You pay him his money. And,
Nice though. He's nice. He can play. He's a dog. He's a little bit of a dog.
yeah, but he wasn't getting burned in Phoenix. Now he'll get burned. He'll be basically a
Just
starter.
give him a burn. He's good. He's good. I like him.
That's why I don't think they'll get rid of him.
He's one of the few guys I've seen that gave even Randall a hard time because of the shooting and that one time, that incident that Randall between him and Randall and that kid just went off that one time in OKC last year. Yeah, I like Johnson.
That's what I mean. Brooklyn's not going to get rid of that. He's a young player, feisty, who can score. So I don't see any of them. Mikal Bridges is going to be tough. I mean, Mikal Bridges, what everybody wants. I would love him. He's ideal. Some people say they'll rebuild around him. The only reason I don't think they would rebuild around him is that he's 27. He's 27, so his top ceiling is right about now. As good as he is, and they could keep him, and he would be great. Their best option would be get as much money as they can for him, or best assets. He would ideally fit with us. I think he would be the person that I would see us go all in for. A couple of picks, maybe a player or two that won't cost us too much, like an Embiid or something like that. So he's someone that throw three or four picks to Brooklyn, even though he's our cross-city rival. Would they do that? If they can get picks, they're trying to grow their base right now. So if they can get more picks and more acquisitions to grow, I think they would be foolish to at least not take the call. So I think Bridges would be a good possibility and someone that we can give picks, maybe not a couple of players, like unless IQ wants to go there, which I doubt, but I mean, or Obi. So those are some things that we got to look at. But Seth Curry, these are low signings that I think we could get. So Seth Curry would give us what we need: shooting, scoring, right off the bench. So we can look out for him and Alec Burks. I think those are more of the reality players we can get. Terrence Mann, he's in Los Angeles Clippers. He has, I think he has 2 more years. I don't really see the Clippers getting rid of him. He's great height, great defender, good shooter, but I don't see Clippers getting rid of him. Josh Richardson, maybe. That's someone to think about there. Wesley Matthews, who was a Knick for like all of a hot 30 seconds to 30 hours. Wesley Matthews is in the Milwaukee Bucks. He's a 3-and-D player. He's a defender, 3-and-D. He's an unrestricted free agent. So again, you're talking about Wesley Matthews, Seth Curry, and then you're talking about Alec Burks. Those you can literally pick up for nothing. Doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost you a couple extra bucks. They're low tier players as far as money wise. So, and they can fit in. They've got experience. Wesley Matthews just won a championship with Milwaukee Bucks, so he's someone that I think can fit right in as well. 3-and-D, who can shoot 3-pointers, who can defend. So he's someone that if Grimes is hurt or tired, he can play the 2 and defend experienced players. So watch out for Wesley Matthews. That's another sneaky one. Any thoughts on Wesley Matthews?
Yeah, Wesley Matthews, he's got a nice game. I gotta look him up. I don't know too much about him. I've heard about him. I like his name is out there. He sounds like a good player. Like I said, we have a lot of options this year, and it's just all up to what the front office does. I think they're gonna do very good, thought out moves. I think they have everything thought out already. We're just gonna see what happens. It's gonna be a quiet season, but it's gonna be a good season.
Yeah, and these are names that I think realistically the organization is going to move and go towards, which add to what our team is right now and just get us better. So as we're looking at our team throughout the year, this past year and in the playoffs, what we lacked was shooting and scoring. People who can either make their own shots and help out the rookies that we have and get them in the right position. That was a lot for Josh Hart. Josh Hart is a great rebounder, but he's not someone that's going to consistently hit the three-point shot and get his own shot. He did great filling in that role, but I think that wasn't his role, you know. So I think if he has another veteran helping him from the bench, and Alec Burke or Wesley Matthews, that's going to add to us. And those players could also fill in the starting role too if we needed to. And they're veterans, experienced in not only the playoffs but also in general. So I like a Wesley Matthews. I like a Alec Burke. Those are players that I'm very high on as far as what the front office would do on there. There's other players, Josh Okogie and Damian Lee. But here's a surprise one here, Machete, that you can think. Here's a surprise that most people aren't going to like. I mean, as far as Miami Heat player, but Max Strus from the Miami Heat. Max Strus is an unrestricted free throw agent. He's the one that was cooking us, that was hitting the threes. He can drive into the lane. His defense is a little suspect, but he's an unrestricted free throw agent. I mean, free agent. I keep saying free.
Keep dreaming. You think Pat's gonna let that boy come to New York?
Well, it's not up to him. They're either going to have to pay him.
He's unrestricted. Yeah, okay. I don't know, man.
He's unrestricted.
I think they're gonna pay him. He took them, and he's the reason they're in the playoffs. Why would you let him go? Like,
I agree with you.
like my boy Raw Hebrew said. Shouts out to Raw Hebrew Remnant. Check out his channel every morning.
Luke, check out
Raw. Like he said, why? He said today, you got to think when you make these moves. Why would the team make that move? You know, okay, if they could pay him, they would pay him. He's a guy, I think, that took him to the playoffs, did well for them in the playoffs, whether he's a starter or not. I think you pay him. I don't know if Miami can pay him, but if they would, they should. If we can pick him up, that would be great. But I just don't see Miami if they're able to let him go.
Remember, he's only really playing now because Tyler Hero's hurt, Oladipo got hurt. He wouldn't be playing if it wasn't for these players being hurt. They would be in the role that he is. He just picked up, right?
But it's
so
like
how much?
It's like Jay Blaze said. Jay Blaze was happy that Tyler Hero didn't play because they probably wouldn't be in the situation they're in if he did play, because he hogs the ball. Because he want to chuck up threes, even though he's a high percentage 3-point player. But the other guys wouldn't have gotten the burn that they got in the playoffs when he wasn't there. So, you know, it was a good thing that Tyler Hero, but it would have been a bad thing if he played, according to Johnny Blaze. So, you know, the kid got burned. Undrafted. He's undrafted. He was undrafted.
Yep.
Got burned in the playoff and showed out. You know, maybe he's one and done, or maybe he could do it again. And he just played well for that organization because he's in a good spot and with a good team, with a good coach, good players around him. He may stay if they give him money, or he may go if they offer him a lot of money. But we would have to offer him more than Miami would offer him. Like, we would have to make it good for him. Really good, better than Miami could, because that's the thing about Pat Riley, is that he can offer you a better situation. You're coming into the sun, you're coming no taxes. You know, it's the Heat, so he can make it very enticing, better than what the Knicks.
Let's see, they paid him $1.8 million this year. So now you're looking about how much do you pay him? Is he an $8 million player? Is he a $12 million player? Is he 18? So this is where it comes into play. So it could be, for us, that's what I'm saying. It's something interesting where it's only money. We don't got to give no picks. We don't got to do nothing. It's just a money issue.
Okay, let's say, hypothetically speaking, the Knicks say, well, hypothetically, we can offer you $15 million. Right. That's a little too much. I'm just saying, it's a little, just say, so what if Miami comes back and says, yeah, but we can offer you $15 million and it's Miami.
Then
what do you think he's gonna do?
That's on him.
What do you think who's $15 million he's gonna take? That's my point.
Who's gonna give him real burn time? That's so
Miami's gonna give him real burn time.
No, he was only playing now because these players got hurt. So when Tyler comes back next year, is he gonna get that burn? Where with us, he's gonna be definitely playing off our bench. But anyway, that's something that we could think about. I just threw it out there to entice people, but it's a good possibility. I'll say a good 40%. He's unrestricted. So they can't match anything, though. That's the thing. Like, they can't match. It's not like he's a restricted free agent where if somebody makes an offer, like if Miami doesn't make it now before the end of the season, then he can go with the next team that's going to pay him the most money. He doesn't have Miami doesn't have the option to counter. He's not restricted. He's unrestricted. So after this, if they don't make him an offer by the time playoffs is over, he's outie. And even then, he's going to probably want to hear what other teams can offer him anyway, because he made it this far. Wouldn't you want to get the most money you can? Anyway, so I think that's something to look out for. Max Strus. Matisse Thybulle, I don't see him leaving Portland. He's someone we would like as far as a defensive player. He's tall enough. He's lengthy. Unless we trade an Obi out there, we got to get rid of Obi. Obi wants to trade. I think he would fit good in the Blazers. He's with a young squad with them. I think that would do good if they're doing a rebuild. Matisse is also young, but if we give up Obi, again, these are not what I think. I just think the likelihood of an option. And we get Matisse Thybulle. He's a he's a small forward who can defend. Not as good at hitting threes, but he's better. Did you have any thoughts on Matisse Thybulle, if you know who he is?
I've heard of him. Don't know who he is. I can't even see his face.
Other player who has one more year and who's a Filipino making $15 million, won Sixth Man of the Year before, Jordan Clarkson. He has one more year on his contract. He is enticing. He is a scorer. He can shoot. He's got experience.
Nice. He burns us a little bit sometimes.
Nah, he's good. He's good. Again, this is scoring.
He's decent, but he ain't better than who was he was playing against that? Yeah. Who?
Alec Burke. Yeah, Alec Burke would be a better fit and cheaper. And plus, Utah's going to want more for him. I like Jordan Clarkson, but I think Alec Burke will be cheaper and fit better. So that's a name I'm just throwing out there that people would throw out, but I think Alec Burke or Wesley Matthews would be better and cheaper. So we'll skip that. I would say Norman Powell, but that's a big contract that the Clippers aren't going to give up on him. Now, the big name. I've been looking at some of Locked On Cleveland, shout out to them, and other Cleveland podcasts that were out there. They're worried about Donovan Mitchell wanting to leave. Donovan Mitchell has essentially 2 more years on his contract. How likely do you think that would be to get Donovan Mitchell? And will we pull the trigger on that? Because
I would love to bring the Homer home. That's what I say. Bring the Homer home. I don't care that he's shorter, doesn't play defense. You talking about a guy who's a legend already, dude. He's got numbers like up there with Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's a prodigy. He's a New York prodigy. You can see it in his face. He wants to be here. Why wouldn't, if you could, fuck the picks. Get that dude now while he's still healthy and he's still young. Incorporate him in there. Figure something out. Figure something fucking out. Go get players who play defense from all around the both of them. Around the both. So do you know what you talking about getting Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell? Even the shorty backcourts. Fuck that. So when you play Brunson and IQ, or is IQ any bigger and taller than Donovan Mitchell? Is anybody a few inches taller? But the guy is dynamic, dude. He's got long ass arms and he's strong and athletic. Could you imagine him playing him at home? He wants to be at home. Who doesn't want to play at home? All these guys go home and play. I mean, we still got time. If he's the free agent at 27, yeah, we still got a little bit of time. But fuck it, we can burn, strike while the iron is hot.
But you know what that means if we go, which that's going to be the big convo. And in all reality, out of all the big names that are out there, other than Embiid, I'm thinking he's probably going to be the next realistic one out there. But that's going to cost one of our young bulls. That's probably going to cost you RJ, just so you know. If we're going after him, it's more than likely RJ. If you look at how the contract was done with RJ, the move was for RJ. Utah didn't move on that. But if Utah doesn't like how it's working with Donovan there and how they fell apart in the playoffs, would they trade Donovan for RJ? And they have a young team of players. And I think RJ, and again, everybody knows I'm a RJ high, but I'm thinking basketball here, organization and basketball. RJ would fit with a Darius Garland. He's a driver. They don't have a slasher other than Levert, and he's not as consistent. And RJ takes a lot of shots. I think that would work for Cleveland. And maybe they get a couple of picks because remember, they gave all their players and all their picks to Utah. So they mortgage their future for him. So if they get rid of him, they're going to need something equivalent, i.e. RJ, and they're going to need some draft capital. And we have both of those. So keep an eye out for that. If a Donovan is in the play, I'm 90% sure it's going to be RJ Barrett. I don't want it, but I understand. And that means you slide Quentin Grimes to the 3 and Randall out there. So that's a lot of shooting between Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and then you got Grimes, and then Randall and Mitchell. That's a lot of shooting there on our offense. And then get an Alec Burke or anybody else for the bench, and we are in the playoffs, my friend. What do you think about that?
Realistically speaking, I think that Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs give it one more run. He's got another year. Let him do another year in Cleveland. See how they can overcome us. They still have the same coach, right? See, I think that the matchup next year would be good for ratings to see with Donovan Mitchell, who got knocked out in the playoff, versus the Knicks next year is a good narrative. So NBA might want to, owners, whatever, may want to keep that. The players may want to play better if he's not on the team. If we can somehow grab him or he leaves, the players probably didn't play so well because of Donovan in the playoffs. There's that argument. So if he's gone, maybe they play better. But then who do you replace Donovan in the Cavs?
RJ Barrett.
It's not our worry. It's not our worry, but I would love to see Donovan here. But realistically, I think he does another year. And then he's available, and we get him, and it gives us another year with Thibs to see what happens. If Thibs doesn't do well and they get rid of him like they've been doing to all these coaches, then maybe Johnny Bryant steps in, and at the end of the year we get Donovan, and it all falls into place. Maybe that happens. Who knows? We don't know.
I agree, but the thing was with Cleveland, and as a business aspect, the longer you hold on to this asset, it starts depreciating. You know what I mean? So if they get Donovan with just 1 year left, it's not as valuable to an organization as if they have 2 years. You know what I mean? So any team that's going to make a move for him, they'd be more willing to give up more assets for him with 2 years left on the contract than 1, because the other team would be like, oh, he could not sign with us and leave, so why would we give you X amount of picks and players even though we know he wants to play in New York? You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean he won't go to Brooklyn. You know what I mean? And obviously that's not who he wants to play for, but that's the leverage that Cleveland would have. If they want to get their picks back and get a good young player, if you give them RJ Barrett, who's giving them almost the same numbers, obviously not that higher, but 20 points a game, a young player who's 22, plus you give them picks who can fit in with the young team because everybody on that team is young. You give them RJ and a couple of picks. That works very good for an easy trade-off. I don't agree with it again. I don't know if they ask for another player, maybe an Obi. I don't know if they ask all that. But their best leverage would be this year if they're going to do that. So I think a likelihood of a player, if Cleveland, goes off the deep end with that and they don't like how it looks or how it went down, then I would say, even though they were high seed, so you're right, they could run it back because they were a high seed this year and give it one more shot. But again, they lose leverage on what they would get back. So that's something interesting to keep an eye on. But that could, as you said, maybe the summer of next year. But I think for them, they need to make that decision as soon as possible, even before the season starts.
Yeah, man. I agree. I agree. The sooner the better. The sooner the better. Bring them home.
I think for both aspects it works. And that's why, and RJ Barrett has a good contract too, where it's not as expensive, so that even if they get rid of RJ Barrett for him and whatever, if they throw OB to match salaries, they get two young talents. So I think that could be something that you could look at. Or maybe RJ Barrett and like a Derrick Rose. So they get RJ Barrett and free up $15 million. or maybe they get R.J. Barrett and Evan Fournier, that they get another shooter, that could help them with experience and a veteran. So that's a more realistic option of getting a all-star for me that I see than anybody else as far as.
That's an idea. I didn't even think about maybe sending Derrick Rose to Cleveland. It's closer to home. He's from Chicago. They and he would blend. He would do really well with a young squad like that. I'm sure they would love to have him.
Yeah, I mean,
he would probably get more burn.
Yep. So there's options there on the table. I think Evan. You're looking at maybe Evan, or Derrick Rose to free up $15 million, or they do because they could do an RJ and Evan and maybe some picks. That way they have Evan as a shooter for 1 year to see if that works. Someone experienced that helps them shoot, space the floor, and then you got RJ, and then you got picks, so you get multiple players with experience and playoff experience that just beat you, and then you don't worry about Donovan leaving and you got nothing for it. So that's something that's realistic to look out for. So keep an eye on that as well as far as Donovan trade. That's something that could be more realistic than not. Paul George, people are talking about, man, that's a lot of money. You're talking about almost $50 million for the next 2 years. That's a hard pass. Other than that, I see other small forwards and stuff like that. Sneaky pick if Orlando gives up on Caleb Houston. He's a good small forward I would like to somehow trade or pick up. He's an unrestricted free agent. I don't know if you know him, but I watch him here in Orlando, and he's an excellent shooter, great 3-point shooter, someone who can space.
Who are you saying?
His name is Caleb Houston. Caleb Houston.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. He's nice.
Yeah. He's a free.
Isn't that little point guard from New York out there? That's not him, right?
Yeah. Cole Anthony. You're talking about Cole Anthony. He's nice too, but I don't think.
No. There's another kid, Cole Anthony, but there's another kid out there who's from New York City.
Jalen Suggs.
I think that might be him. He's a little shorty. He's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah, but he's someone that they drafted high and they got him on a rookie contract. I doubt they let him go. Caleb Houston's someone that we could look at because he can space the floor. He's a great shooter. I want to say he's like 6'9", so he's tall. So he's someone that keep an eye out that we can somehow get cheap. So there's a couple of people. Cody Martin, the twin brother of Caleb Martin that's in the Miami Heat. His twin brother, he has one more year with these people. Actually, 2 years. So I don't know if they give up on him, but he's someone we could trade for, but I don't really see that happening. Other than that, I mentioned it in Raw's chat. He wasn't with it, but Patrick Williams. He's someone from Chicago. He's a small forward, an excellent defender, long arms. I don't know if Chicago gives up on him. Maybe we give him Derrick Rose and maybe a pick or something. But if we can somehow get Patrick Williams, he is a lockdown defender.
Yeah.
40% from 3-point. So
Send him home.
Yeah,
Send him home.
He would be an excellent trade if somehow.
Yeah, I still would like to see. Yeah, it would be nice. Send D Rose home with all those guys over there. Bring that kid over here. Be nice.
So I would throw a Fournier, Rose, and maybe a pick, and then get Patrick Williams back. That frees up $35 million. You lose a pick, but you got plenty, and then you get someone who was a top round pick, Patrick Williams, who's a defender who Tibbs would love. So the kid's got a 7-foot wingspan. He shoots 40% from the 3-pointer. He's long. He comes from University of Florida, FSU. So he's an FSU kid, so that Florida State, man, they got a great program there, great defensive mindset, great basketball IQ. He has been hurt here and there, but again, if you got him coming from your bench, you got someone, him and Deuce, it would be insane. They wouldn't be able to score if you get him on there. So that's someone I would like. I don't know the likelihood, but we get him, that would be pretty big on there. And then what do you think about Marcus Morris if we get him again? He's got one more year. Marcus Morris is in the Clippers. He played with us. That's how we got some of our picks. A great 3-point shooter, a great veteran, a true dog. We came up with the name Dog when he played with us. What are your thoughts on Marcus Morris?
Bring my dude back, dog. What? That would be the effing move. That guy right there. That's the guy right there. Wait a minute. Yes, that's the veteran we need right there. That's the guy right there. Definitely was a Nick. Will always be a Nick. Bring his ass home. That's the dog and the veteran we need right there, man.
Yep.
For real.
I think this is he signed a 1-year deal, so it's a 1-year deal that we could get him. He would be someone that you can plug right in and instant offense every time. Someone who can hit the three, someone who can defend. So all these picks that I'm telling you are sneaky moves that we can actually get without giving up our picks, without burying our treasure chest, without hitting home runs, and would make us contenders in the Eastern Conference Finals with just small, slight moves, still keeping our team intact, still keeping the majority of our players. And again, the rest, IQ and Obi, it's up to them. Technically, we can still keep them one more year without doing anything. I think we can keep our whole team intact, get good players, and Alec Burke, Wesley Matthews, Marcus Morris, players like that. If we can somehow get Caleb Houston, get them down there, and the Trevor Keels, everybody else that we have that's on the, send them back down to the G League, two-way player contracts. But I think if we can get any of those players, that makes our team that much more dangerous next year. Definitely Marcus Morris, definitely Alec Burks, and even Wesley Matthews. If somehow we can get a combination of two of those three players, I think that alone makes us a good threat next year. And without getting rid of anybody, without adding anybody on, and I think that makes us a dangerous team next year. And then the following year, you can do the Donovans, the Embiids, and all
we need a Marcus Morris backing up Jalen Brunson and putting his foot up everybody's ass in that locker room for real.
Yep.
He's gonna motivate everybody in there.
Yep.
It's gonna be Jalen Brunson so happy to have a guy like that backing him up. It'll be like John Starks and Charles Oakley.
Yeah, and when you have someone like that you can either, when you sit RJ and you bring him in, that frees up Randall. Which is what we're looking to do. Randall in 3 years has been double teamed. If we keep Randall, it's because he's getting double teamed. You add shooters around him, you put a Marcus Morris out there, you get Grimes on his 3rd year that he starts hitting his shots. You can't double team Randall. Then you can have Bully Randall that can give you not only 25, he'll probably bring it up to 28 points a game. He's giving you 12 rebounds. And he's throwing the assist out to Mook. He's throwing the assist out to a consistent shooting Grimes. He's throwing the pass out there to Jalen Brunson. Then that's going to spread our offense out. And then we'll start hitting our threes, and we'll be much better then. That's what I think is going to happen this year. I think we keep our players. I think even if IQ and Obi want to leave, I think we keep them one more year, try to give them the best we can. They're eligible for an extension this year, but we don't have to give them an extension this year. So we can do it one more time. Oh, fire your coach. Boy, look, boy, that boy is never a day late and a dollar short is never Jay Blaze. Shout out Jay Blaze. He's in the chat. We gave you props, and we was talking about getting your boy Strus. Max Strus is a free agent. You guys better pay him, or we might come out like the Hawk. And snatch up and grab your boy. What you think about your boy Max Strus? You guys think you pay him Blaze or what? Jay Blaze, if y'all ain't looking in there, he says, fire our coach. Okay, that's the hot topic. That's the other one. I was trying to avoid it, but here comes Jay Blaze, Mr. Molotov Cocktails himself, Mr. Grenade Launcher, Mr. Blow Your Spot Up, Jay Blaze. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Well, what do you think about it, Shady?
Can I say, look, Jay Blaze, we're not gonna let go of our coach, man. We're gonna give him one more year through the good and through the bad, because we're not jumping coaches like everybody. We're trying to create a dynasty like you guys have out there. Consistency, starting with the coach and his philosophy. He took us to the finals. He helped take us to the finals in '99, and he's gonna take us to the finals in 2024. That's what Thibs is gonna do. We ain't gonna get rid of Thibs, dude. He took us. Look where he got us in 3 years, 2 playoffs in 3 years, dude. And then the second time we were 2 games away from the EFC. That's right. Y'all just came in there and cock blocked, but that's all good.
This is your last shot anyway, Miami.
That's all. Fans in Miami, he's good for cock blocking.
Hey, this is your last chance, man. Y'all better do something. You better take all the playoff, Jimmy. You better use Jimmy snap into a Slim Jim. Whatever you want to do, bro. Whatever you want. This now's your chance. Now's your chance. You guys gotta go for it. You gotta go all in. This is your time, Miami. This is it. You can do it. Because if you don't, down goes Frazier. We coming back to you next year. It's a battle. Now's your chance. Get your shot. You better. Y'all went through Milwaukee. Y'all went through us. Y'all better go through Boston. Y'all up 2-1. Do not fail. Now's your shot. You better win a ring now. And this ring, if you guys win one, would be without an asterisk, in my opinion. You guys
Hey,
heard
shouts out to the Heat. Shouts out to the Heat, man. The Dynasty Killers.
They did their thing. Now's their chance. I agree for you guys to definitely turn it up a notch. This is your chance. The Warriors are out of it. You got an aging LeBron. I mean, it's all lined up for Miami Heat for you guys to win. There's no reason. I mean, the best teams that should have beat you are already out. You guys are up 2-0 on Boston. Lakers look crazy. And all you guys got to do is beat Denver, who's offensive-minded, but y'all can beat them. You guys have enough players. So I got you guys winning it. Y'all went through us. We're going to support you, even though you're our rivals, East Coast all the way. So you guys should be able to beat Boston, and you should win against Denver. You got a deeper team, more shooters. So Blaze also says we need a big athletic 2-guard to hide Brunson. Well, who would you say? I went through a couple of players here. That's available. Big 2-guard, I don't see it. Right now, we just need a consistent Grimes. Grimes is a 2-year player. He knows the tip system. He guarded all the best two guards, and he did very good. He just has to be consistent with his 2. I don't know any available 2 guards that are out there that we can go for. That's a defender, Jay Blaze. Again, earlier, the only person I said who we would like to go out there and get, if available, or give picks for, the best talent that would be out there would be Mikal Bridges from Brooklyn. He would be the most ideal person, either to the 2 or 3. If we get Mikal Bridges and we move RJ to the bench, and you have Brunson, Grimes, and Bridges out there, not only is it a lockdown defense, the threes are going to rain on them. That spaces out Julius Randle. That'll be crazy. That's the only 2 that I see that we can go for that's available. I don't see anyone else that would take a starting role over Grimes that we can get. Other than that would be Donovan Mitchell. Again, that's if Cleveland tries to move him. You said a big guard, but I don't see any 2. The only big 2 out there would be Mikal Bridges, and he's more of a small forward. So a big 2 that's available, that doesn't exist for us right now. Unless you know someone you want to mention, I don't know anybody else other than that. The reality is we're going to keep our starting 5 the way it is, unless some freak of nature, Embiid, or somebody becomes available, which is more than likely not the case. We're talking about Knicks and Knicks luck. That's not happening. More than likely we keep our 5 and we add potency to our bench. Alec Burke, Wesley Matthews.
I agree.
Curry, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Marcus.
Can't think of anybody right now either.
Other than that, but even if we got those players, they can fit in the starting lineup. If Grimes is having a bad shooting night, you could plug in a Marcus Morris, and he's gonna play exceptionally well. You can plug in an Alec Burke and he'll play well. You can plug in a Wesley Matthews and he would play well, defensively and threes in the areas that we were lacking. So those experienced players, that's why I mentioned them, because even if someone's having an off night and RJ, you could put any one of those 3 players in with the starting lineup and they'll play phenomenal. You could put them in from the bench and they'll play great. So that's why I think that'll be the smarter move, the cheaper move, the more prudent move. And if you looked at anything that the Don has done, coined by Raw Hebrew Remnant, the Don, which is Leon Rose, if you look at anything he's done, they tell you what they're going to do, but Knicks fans don't listen. They dream on. They want to think of something else. That's what he's going to do. He's going to be prudent. All the moves he's made have been prudent. He's trade down. He's either gained trades. He's either gained assets, and it's always been to the positive of the Knicks. It's never have you seen in the 3 years that he's been here that he's taken an L, that he's lost assets, that he lost in the deal. He's always won in the deal. He's not going to go against Utah with Danny Ainge and take an L. He's not going to go to Cleveland and go against Donovan and take an L and lose what he's gained just to get these players. When he know he can get Donovan for free in a year and a half. So it's on Cleveland to want to trade him, remove him, and the ball is in our court really, because Donovan only wants to play for New York. So if we don't make a move or trade for him, that's on them to try to get something for him, which they won't. He's anywhere else he's going to go, he's not going to want to resign there. He's going to come to New York. So they're going to get very little assets from him. So their best bet is only to come to New York, and the ball is in our court, so we can. So Donovan is ours anyway. It's what we want to give for him, and the Don's not going to give up a lot. I'll tell you that. So in 2 years, he'll fit right in. We build whoever we have right now, and then next year we make a move. Sorry, Blaze, but Tibbs is not going anywhere. Everybody who's saying get Bud, any of these people, they're not going to win. The only one with a winning record in the playoffs is Bud, Coach Bud, which is Budhauser, which is the one that was in Milwaukee. So I don't think the reality that we would go for him. And his system, he's not defensive. He's good with the talent that he had around him. He didn't do that great in Atlanta. That's why he got fired from there, and they got Nate McMillan. So he won Coach of the Year, but again, they had a lot of good players around him. So I don't see that he's going to be a good coach for us. Definitely not Doc. Doc is not a winner. And then Monty Williams is okay, but none of them have got great playoff winning records. At least Tibbs built a system from the ground up. The players know him. They got his buy-in. They got his respect. The front office organization picked Thibodeau. They know his defense. They know his system. And they work together as a team. Any other coach is going to want to run things their own way. They're going to have clash with the front office. It's running like a well-oiled machine. So for them to get some other coach and then for the other coach to learn how the front office wants to play and the talent and what they got going, I don't see that happening. The organization is running smooth. They created a great foundation. They got great leadership, and everything is running smoothly. I just don't see it. It doesn't make sense on that to rebuild and start over. You get rid of a coach, as Raw said, you're starting over. And to start over something that we've already done in 3 years, make the playoff in 2 out of 3 years. You got players that made All-Star in 2 of the 3 years. You have players that made All-NBA in those 2 or 3 years. You had development from the youth who made an almost 6-man of the year. There's a lot of success that we've had in these 3 years that you can't just erase that and think you're going to get the grass is greener somewhere else. There's nothing else that's proven that's out there that's going to be able to replace a winning coach and winning players and a winning organization. So just saying fire the coach doesn't make sense. If you say fire the coach, and not just you, Blaze, I'm talking to all our Knicks fans nation. Fire Tibbs. Who are you going to replace with Tibbs? What system will that coach produce? Can he get the buy-in from these players? Can he get the best out of them like Tibbs done? The answer is going to be no. Unless
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not only that, guys love to play for him. They want to come back and stay playing for him. Look at Rose. Look at Taj. Taj came back. I would love to have Taj back also if we could get him out of that minimum. He did pretty good. He did decent for the Wiz. But that's hypotheticals. But
Yeah, but
guys, the point is, and if Jimmy Butler could, he would come back and play for him for Thibs because he didn't at Minnesota. He came back and played for him. Because he said the coach was there. That's why he wanted to go play because he wanted to play for that guy and his system and his defense. Because
Riley is not giving up Jimmy Butler, even if he has an overpay him.
If Riley could have him, he would have him as a coach because
Riley ain't let him go, especially to go to the Knicks. He'll pay him $300 million just to keep him.
Try to come over here. That ain't gonna happen, dude.
That ain't gonna happen.
He's gonna be there. He's got incentives, dude. He's gonna be there another 20 years. They're giving him stock bonds, incentives, and part of the franchise. He's gonna even when he retires, he's gonna have a spot. He'll be president one day of the Heat. Mark my words.
And as you heard here first, the Knicks fanatics, the organic fanatics, we're telling you guys what you're seeing. I'm I say we're staying pat. Unless some miracle happens, could there be chances? Sure. Anything could happen. Anything is possible. Any that could happen, but the reality when it comes to the Knicks is it's probably not going to happen. If you look at the history for 3 years, if you look at the moves the organization has made, if you look at the moves that Don has made in 3 years, Leon Rose, if you look at how Thibodeau has coached, if you looked at how he's developed his players, if you look how he's treated and trained his players, there's a consistency. There's a formula that they're telling you. 1+1 is 2. But you guys are using multiplication and division in an arithmetic problem in addition. Okay, that I want to tell you a joke that we're talking about, but anyway, we'll go to that another time. Anyway, it's simple arithmetic. They're giving you the formula, follow the formula, and you get to the answer. But we don't do that. Knicks Nation is looking always for for you guys that are always ready to fire and get rid of people. I can't imagine your relationships. You're looking at the next green grass. The girl you with could be a baddie. You'll be like, yo, look at somebody. Look at this girl. Bro, just the grass is not always greener, bro. The grass is not always greener. Love what you have, cherish what you have, and turn that flower into a garden, my man. You got to calm down. And I'm guessing the crazies, all of you guys that are on the edge, I'm pretty sure you guys may be 30 and under. If you're 40 and you are plus north of 40 and you guys are talking about trades and fire tips, wow. Talk. Let's see in the chat. Salute to you, Jay Blaze. But for the organic fanatics, I think we're standing pat. I don't think we're trading Randall, so you can kill that noise. We're probably going to keep Obadiah and Emmanuel quickly at least for one more year. We can. There's no reason for us to rush, trade them, or even extend them. They are eligible for an extension, but we don't have to extend them. We can make them restricted free agents. I don't want to keep saying free throw. Restricted free agents, see what the other teams offer, and match it. So we could do that for both of them. That's it. That's what's probably going to happen. We're going to add some vets, low cost that I told you, and that's going to take us to the second or third round next year where we beat the Heat because we're going to get experienced players that would help us play experienced teams in the playoffs. That's pretty much all I got for you. What do you got, Machete? You got anything to close off the topic on this?
Like you said, the only moves, I just want to see us stand pat, not make any drastic moves, come back with the same squad, go a little further next year, more confidently, with more experience, because now we have a plan in front of us. We did, and RJ was right. They did shock the world. They did better than our expectations. They were 2 games away from the Eastern Conference Finals. That's shocking. They shocked everybody. They did well. Come back with the same group, keep the same camaraderie. I always say that. I always mess up that word, but keep the same consistency with the guys, and they're confident. They'll be more confident with each other playing next year. Bring back Randall. The only thing I would like, or any changes would be if we bring in Morris or some kind of veteran, some kind of a dog, a good veteran dog that we could bring in the locker room. Morris would be great because he's ex-Knicks, and he was a former captain, and it would be great to have a leader like that to back up Brunson. And let's go Knicks. We're gonna do good. I can't wait to see what we do in the off season.
That's going to be awesome. And to your point that you're talking about there, too, like even when we were talking about bringing back Morris, I think that's going to take some pressure off Randall. It's a veteran that's experienced, that's a dog like him, that gets teed up with technicals, too. So when Randall's getting mad, he's someone that could take technicals or shout at the rest for him to, alleviate that pressure for him. He feels like
he knows Randall because he did play with Randall his first year, right?
Yeah, and it worked
right
well.
Before he got traded.
Spaced the floor. Yep, he spaced the floor, and they weren't double teaming as much there. And we were making noise. And he was getting last shots because he's an experienced shooter, so he can take the last shot, take the pressure off Brunson and Randall. He's someone you can plug in there. So keep a lookout for Marcus Morris, if we can get him. Markieff, bring back the dog. So I think we stand pat. I think we make low value play, high value but low reward. You know what I'm saying? Low value as far as cost wise. So I think Marcus Morris, Wesley Matthews, Alec Burke. I think CP hit that one on the head. I think that's something that I don't see Detroit really resigning when they got all these young talent and they got draft picks. They're gonna have to play these young kids. So are you really gonna get an old vet in there, and what's he gonna contribute? You're not really gonna get anything out of him other than keeping you in games. But you want that experience to be from the rookies you're getting. So Alec Burke, I think, is a real realistic person we can get. If we can get him and Marcus Morris, people who know the system, people who know Tibbs, people who are veterans, that would be low-key crazy. And I think that's something that would really work. So look out for Marcus Morris if we can get him from the Clippers, and then look out for Alec Burke. Those would be something I can look at, and Wesley Matthews. Other than that, that's all we got from the Organic Fanatics. I was to look at the draft, possible trades, and stay away off the ledge. The Knicks clicks is real. They targeted you guys. Stop going into their pages. You're just giving them views, bro. That's it. What you got,
Yep.
Michelle?
Yeah. Everybody put God first, and let's go Knicks. See what happens. Enjoy the rest of the games out there. See if Miami takes it. Enjoy some NBA. Don't be one of those that your team gets knocked out. You stop watching basketball. Enjoy the games all the way to the end. Everybody relax. We'll see you next season.
All right. Well, I'm guilty at that. I'm a little scarred. I'm a little hurt. So I'm only focusing on my team. But we're from the 305 also. That's my other home. So we salute 305, Miami Heat. It's on you.
Yeah, the city we love to hate, but Miami is
that's our love. That's our home too.
Home.
Miami's our second home, so we still got love for you, NBA. So Miami 305 is on you guys. We're riding with you guys to the end. So you got Knicks Nation behind you at least for this. So
but still, this is the Organic Fanatic Show.
The Organic Fanatics.
For Organic Fanatics, okay?
We fans. We fanatics.
We
ain't on the ledge. We ain't on the ledge, but we crazy about it. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Tell us what you think about it. Tell us what you think about these picks. Do you think we're crazy? You think we're going for the big home run? Put us comments on the chat. Let us know. I'm gonna reply to it. I'm gonna reply to it. Whether it sounds crazy or not, I'm gonna say something. So put what you think about it. Let us know. You might be just as crazy as my dog Jay Blaze, who's just throwing little haymakers in there. But shout out to Jay Blaze. Salute Raw Hebrew.
Please,
Knicks fan.
Please like and subscribe. Hit the likes. Subscribe, please.
Like and subscribe. Give us comments. Hey, Emangelo, take us out of here.
Primeramente Dios.
Yeah, God first. God first every time.
Forms and films in the building. My God, what's good?
And I salute the new Knicks. Let's get it.
Shout out to the new Knicks.
The new Knicks, salute my guy.
The new Knicks, the Organic Podcast.
Sounds like it's about to go down in here. Going down. New York City, NYC, Brooklyn, Staten, and the Bronx. Manhattan, Queens, what you want? We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. Brooklyn, Staten, and the Bronx. Manhattan, Queens, what you want? We want the Knicks. We want the Knicks. This is for the win. We want the Knicks. New York City.
All right, my niggas. My brothers. All right.
Peace, Joe. Peace.